In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create high quality video ideas that attract your ideal buyers, which is the foundation for filling your calendar with inbound leads. And this is the exact same process that we've used to help Caleb Olku 10x his business and go from 5,000 subs to 30,000 subs and growing. Now, let's jump right into it. All right, so before we talk about creating actual video ideas, I need to stress the idea of the concept of TAM, which is the total addressable market. So when you make video ideas, you need to be making ideas that are solely based on this area over here, the SOM, the serviceable obtainable market. So for example, if you are an ecom email marketing agency, but you only want to serve brands that do supplements, then your total ideal market would be brands that have supplements. But if you want to go broader than that, then it will just be any ecom brand. But if ecom brands are not enough, then you need to go for anyone that could use email marketing in their business, which is the total addressable market. Now, when you create video ideas, you need to be focusing on this area over here, not generic business advice, not advice that has nothing to do with your service. It needs to be purely based off this area over here, which is what the serviceable obtainable market is, your ideal customer. Because when you talk specifically to your SOM, they'll be more connected with you and will be more willing to book a call about your services because of that. Because if you just talk about email marketing in general, but you only want to work with supplement brands, then the supplement brands won't care about you. The goal is you need to be that guy when you create video ideas and not talk to anyone at all, which yes, will result in less views for your ideas, but the quality of viewer that you get onto your channel is super high. So let's just say if the supplement ecom brands, there's only 10,000 of them that are actively on YouTube. If you could get 300 of those to watch your YouTube videos, it won't matter because they see that the videos you make, they could relate to so much that they would want to see how you could specifically help them because you position yourself as that guy. So yes, when you make videos, you only target the SOM and you only expand if you've completely capped the niche. And then you move up to the serviceable available market, which is just everyone who, for example, wants email marketing. And if you saturate that, then you need to move up market again to anyone that needs help with email marketing in general. Now, once you know who you want to target, like the idea of what videos to make based off that, then you need to figure out the full profile of the customer. So this is where we create your ideal customer profile. So you've probably heard of this many times. You probably have this for your own business. It's where you figure out who your ideal customer is, what they want, and what are they struggling with? So with who they are, like what is their role? How old are they typically? What industry are they in? The experience they have, the income they are at, how big is their business, any responsibilities, personality traits, or the typical lifestyle they have. So for example, you're not going to talk about memes to a brand owner who's like 50 years old. Next is what they want. So what is their personal goals, for example? What is their long-term goals? What are the short-term wins they want to see and what success looks like to them? Or what is their emotional desires or practical desires? And you note these down so that when you make your videos, you could have these in mind so you could just appeal to those exact things. So for example, if the long-term goal of a brand is to get to 8 figures when they're currently at 7 figures, you could like mention that, how this email thing will help you get to 8 figures if you nail all this in a long enough timeline. And then this will be able to help you achieve your personal goals, which will help you travel more, for example. Now that's maybe a bit too much for an ecom brand, but you get the idea. And then after that, you need to figure out what they are struggling with too. So for example, email marketing. Have they worked with other agencies before? Have they tried to create an in-house team, which falls into the skills they lack to build it? Are they running out of time? Have they failed at anything before? Like doing the wrong hires or hiring bad fit agencies? Is there anything wrong inside their business or anything that they see outside that they know they'll struggle with? You need to map all of these out as much as possible. You need to do deep market research. Because this is how your competition is going to lap people because they've been in the game longer. They've seen all the trends and patterns and they noted all this down so that when they want to make videos, they'll just take a look at this and figure out what exactly are these people struggling with. And then once you map all of this, you know who you're going to target, you know what your ideal customer is like, and how they behave. Then you need to figure out what you specialize in, because you're going to have competition, like I said. You need to find out what your unique selling point is. So for example, what have you accomplished? Is it because you've been in the space for a longer time, or do you have any unique stories that you could leverage? So if you have any terrible backstory that you could talk about, that's something you learned from that you applied in your business, you could use that. Because at the end of the day, YouTube is long form content. People came to see people more vulnerable and learn more deep processes. And the more you could talk about your process in detail with unique stories combined, it's what builds trust the most, because there's a lot of people that are making content and are just showing, this is what I do this, do this, do this, do this, but they don't have like any personality involved. Because at the end of the day, you're building a personal brand, and that's why people came to see you. And if you have nothing unique about yourself, why would they choose you over the other person that's doing the same thing as you? So yeah, you need to figure out what exactly unique selling point is, and you need to figure out what have you done overall that your viewers could see just from your point of view. So for example, if you've been in the email marketing space for over 10 years, we already know what that is, like how long you've been in the space, which is already a big advantage, because you could just talk about everything you've seen all the patterns, you know what works, you could talk about stories you worked with other brands. And then once you figure out what your unique selling point is, then this is where we just map out the possible ideas that your ideal customer needs. So this is what's called content bucket. This is where you look at your service, for example. So email marketing is the thing I came up with. And you break down each part of email marketing into what I call buckets. So part of it is Klaviyo, like learning how to use Klaviyo, the strategy involved, and the copywriting. So like those are the three main buckets involved in email marketing. So like what to say, how to design the emails in a way that makes people want to buy, and how to use the software to leverage all this. And then once you map those out, you'll know, okay, I know what to talk about. But then these can be expanded further. So for example, for Klaviyo, you could do pop-ups, you could do flows, and then you could break those down further into more smaller chunks, because YouTube videos are only going to be between 10 to 15 minutes long, ideally, for a normal video. And it's the same thing over here, the strategy, like how you design the emails, or the ideal times to upload, or whatever comes to mind when you think strategy. And then copywriting, like what gets people to buy based on these specific words. You keep on thinking about ideas on each certain bucket, and then eventually you'll come up with hundreds of ideas. So that's the first thing that you need to do once you know what you're targeting and what ideas will help your ideal buyer the most. Now, once that's all done, you're now ready to go on YouTube and make YouTube videos. But even then, you need to be researching your competitors on YouTube. This is super important. You can't just take those content buckets and start creating videos. You need to deeply look at your competitors, because there are like 2 layers of research. We did one part, which is finding out who you want to target, and now we need to figure out how to do it on YouTube. So let's talk about the easier way first on how to research competitors. And then after that, we'll talk about the more deep stuff. So here I am on my YouTube channel, and the easiest way to figure out who your competitors are, if you already have an established YouTube channel. Mine isn't, because I'm still starting it out. You need to look over here what channels your audience watches. Normally, you would have channels over here, but because my YouTube channel is still small and needs a lot more viewers to get more data, which is important, you'll be going over here. There'll be 3 pages of YouTube channels that your viewers also watch. If you do the targeting well, you will have very similar YouTubers/business owners over here. And you're going to take all those channels and put it somewhere so that you could go look back at them later. Now that's the easiest way to figure out where your competitors are. Now, if you're like me and you don't have a channel that is established, we need to do the more longer manual way. So the first step is you need to be installing vidIQ. Now, it's not 100% accurate when it comes to keywords, because of course it doesn't have all the information about YouTube. But once you install it, what you're going to do is find common keywords in your niche, mainly high-tail keywords, like what your ICP will search when they're on YouTube. So for example, you could search stuff like this, like how can I fix my email deliverability? How do I structure Facebook ad campaigns for higher ROAS? How to come up with good YouTube video ideas? And how to handle sales objections. So I'll show you live on how to do this. All right, so now we're on YouTube, and I'm going to copy one of the keywords that I put over there, as you could see, it's not an ideal keyword. No one's searching this up, but you have an idea of what videos you will get just based off this keyword. And when you look over here for vidIQ, you will see a lot of details about this keyword. So like volume, this is probably one of the more important metrics. This is to show that how much people are actively searching this term out. If it's close to 0, don't bother putting this in. And it's the reason why this competition is very low. But all right, so just say you do search this term out. What you're going to do is look at the top search, look at the videos that are ranked the highest, and you're going to check these people out. So you see Lee Gen J. You're going to check Lee Gen J and you're going to look at his videos. And then you're going to click on his most popular videos and then see what type of videos posts that get a lot of views. And what you're going to do is save those videos somewhere. Now, of course, that search term that I used was actually terrible. So we're going to try to use a different example. So how do I run Facebook ads? Okay, I made a typo, but okay, but what I put is actually not good. What you're going to do is then go over here to the top related opportunities, vidIQ, and you're going to see the most popular terms. So just Facebook ads. So then, like I said before, you're going to repeat what I said. You're going to look at these channels and videos, and then going to save them on whatever preferred platform or software you like. So options that I personally like are either Sheets, Milanote, Miro, or Notion. Now, I like using Milanote because then you could just grab those channels and then put them all over the place to get an idea of what are all the YouTubers in that space. This is all personal preference, but I'll show you what I mean. So here you could see my Milanote, which is where I put all the YouTube channels that I know and are my competitors all over the place. So then when I have to think of video ideas, the first thing I'll do is go here, click on their channels, and then look at their videos that they have. Okay, once that's done, now you need to watch the videos. This is extremely important. Ever since AI came in, a lot of people now, they just click on the video, copy the transcript, and put it in AI and just say, make this video for me. So instead, what I want you to do is actually do homework and watch the videos, because over there, you're going to find noticeable stuff that you will not see when you don't watch the videos. So you're going to keep track on what keeps showing off. So like what type of editing style do they use? And what looks the same across many videos? So are they using the same formatted intro? Are they using the same type of thumbnail? Are they just abusing one similar format? You're going to be looking at like how they start the videos, explain ideas, present visuals. Because for example, let's just say you're targeting teenagers. You probably need to edit your videos all the time because those teenagers are mostly scrolling and they need to have some sort of stimulation, and video editing with fancy graphics is what will be able to keep them on the video. But if you are appealing to 50-year-olds in the finance niche, telling them about retirement, then it's probably best you keep editing to a complete minimum, only showing important stuff, or just doing screen sharing instead. But the whole goal of watching the videos is to just look for patterns so you know what you could repeat. Because if something is already proven to do well, you need to copy what they're doing, change it in a way where it will benefit you. Now, we can talk about the proven ideation strategies on YouTube. So the first proven way to come up with video ideas is borrowing authority. Now, this is done by already going to someone super popular and putting their name inside your video. These are two good examples I found on YouTube. So what Instantly AI did, which is lead generation software or cold email, is they took the idea of Alex Hormozi's lead generation strategy for 2025, and it did super well. It got 254,000 views. Their channel is only 71,000 subscribers. And if I'm correct, that was 8 months ago. So that means the video got that much views when they probably had less subscribers. Then over here, you got the same thing with Trey over here. He is leveraging Daniel Dalen's brand because you could see how big Daniel Dalen is. He's one of the people that brought vlogging back to YouTube for entrepreneurship. And Trey, what he did is just analyze his whole strategy and personality on that. Because Daniel Dalen is such a common name, he used that in his thumbnail saying how this 26-year-old entrepreneur is reinventing YouTube. So you could see if you leverage big names the right way, you could get good results doing so. Because what you're doing is picking their audience bringing them to you. And this same principle applies for even big brands. It doesn't have to be like big YouTubers too. So for example, if you talk about, let's just say, how Pepsi made $1 billion, or how they managed to make people addicted to their drink, you can make a video based on that. But of course, that's not about business. That's just in general. But the concept remains the same. Next, we got trendjacking. So trendjacking just involves posting a video during a specific time when something is trending. That's basically it. So there are 3 videos over here that do trendjacking super well. So you got Iman Gachi over here, where he just talks about how you could lock in 2026. And he posted that during the last 2 weeks of December, I believe. So he's leveraging the trend of improving yourself during the new year, saying that, oh, it's a new year and you need to be doing this and this and this if you want to be successful. Because everyone is searching for what they could do in 2026. And also, YouTube is recommending people videos just purely based off end of year stuff. Next is, for example, AI examples over here. So for Nana Banana Pro, this was like when it went super mainstream, Nana Banana Pro, when it first released. And this guy over here made a video about Nana Banana Pro a week right before it launched. When something catastrophically big happens, like Nana Banana Pro, which is an insane AI image generator, people want to learn how they could use it immediately. So even if the video quality is not the ideal best, if you could at least give some decent advice during a good trend, you could capitalize on all that traffic involved in that trend. Same thing over here for ChatGPT agent mode. So I believe sometime in July, ChatGPT released its agent mode, and people were crazy about it and they want to know how they could use it. So again, this guy released this video quickly about ChatGPT agent on how you could possibly use it the right way. Like as he said, 8 insane ChatGPT agent use cases. And because it was this massive new feature release, people want to learn how they could use it. So they'll click the first few videos that have been released in that time period because that's what's available. And that's how this guy captured a decent amount of traffic for his brand. And if I'm correct, he has less than 100,000 subscribers. So this is a really good video for his standards. Now, another thing you could do is big news for a niche. So an example I thought of was when Donald Trump announced tariffs for China. Now, that's a big deal for e-commerce. So if you post a video talking about the possible effects it will have regarding that niche, it'll do super well because people want to know, oh shoot, what does that mean for us now? We do e-commerce. Most of our business comes from China where they have all the suppliers. And if there's going to be tariffs on that, we're going to be making less money. So what could we do? So if you post a news video or something on what to do just based on that certain time, it'll also do pretty well because people want to know exactly how. So yeah, that's trendjacking. So now we're going to move on to the most popular type of way to come up with video ideas on YouTube, and that's outlier theory. So let's talk about outlier theory because it is complex. There's a lot of stuff involved. Because normally when people think of outlier theory, this is what people think of. And it's what you should not be doing at all. You should never directly copy ideas blatantly. So for example, Layla Hormozi made a video on the psychology of making money. And this is her thumbnail. It did 6 times better than her channel. And considering it has 1 million subscribers and this is getting like a lot of views considering her channel size, this is something people should model. But what you shouldn't be doing is just saying, oh, video did well. Let me just take everything and copy it word for word for what I did in my case. Like this guy over here, he copied that exact video, but did not get similar results compared to Layla. It did 2.8x better, but there's an art to copying. And copying without a strategy is just going to tank your channel because then you're going to have what's called an outlier slop channel where all the videos are just all random ideas that you'll see everywhere. And if you just directly copy outliers blindly without thinking, you're just going to be the guy that just second place or third place all the time because you're not original. You need to have original ideas in the video and you need to make thumbnails that are still copying but at least are changed in a way where it actually reflects your brand. And please don't just steal a video word for word, bar for bar, just because you see it do well. You need to take just the best parts of it and then look at it and then apply what's working from the outlier video into your brand. This is the right way to do it. So every single video over here was based off this Hormozi video. Hormozi has 3 million subs and this video got 4.3 million views. Now, that was 2 years ago when Hormozi had probably 1 million subs or less. And that got a tremendous amount of views during that time. Now, the right way people do it is they'll look at the title and the thumbnail and watch the video, and they'll take the best parts and combine it in their own niche. So for example, this person over here, how to study so fast it feels like cheating. It's following a similar format. How to get so rich you question the meaning of making money. It's following the format of how to achieve something so big that you ridiculous claim. So how to study so fast it feels like cheating. But then instead of just taking that Hormozy thumbnail and just copying it exactly, just changing the face, he made a different variation because it's a complete different niche. So for example, he made a basic stick figure with time 20% and then grade 99%, reflecting the idea that you don't need to put a lot of time to get such a high grade. Same thing over here. How to edit so good your viewers get addicted to your videos. If I'm correct, this channel has less than 200,000 subscribers and it got that much views, which is an insane outlier. It's ridiculous. Every YouTube strategist will know when a video like that overperforms. It's a 100x. So when you look at the title, it's again following the same claim over here. How to do something so good or whatever, so rich that your ridiculous claim, like get addicted to your videos. And when you look at the thumbnail, again, it has nothing to do with the same original thumbnails. He made his own variation. So he put an editing timeline, which involves additional elements and then a big title saying stop being boring. The video is clearly targeting people who are into video editing. But because the title again says addicted to your videos, it's targeting anyone who wants to improve their YouTube channel. That's why this video did so well. I managed to attract such a broad amount of viewers into it just based off this whole title. And the same concept I applied to my client Caleb's, which is how to rank #1 so fast people think you hacked Google. And then for the thumbnail, what I thought of is because he claimed this process is good enough to rank businesses from nothing to like top 1 in only 14 days. So we made sure to leverage that in the title and then make it clear that when you look at the thumbnail, it's clear that this is talking about ranking #1 on Google. We did that too. Then, of course, we made sure to put Caleb in the thumbnail because it's one of the most important parts when you talk about educational YouTube videos. And this video got 97,000 views and he only had, I think 20,000 subscribers at that time in the SEO niche, which is pretty small. That is a lot of views in the SEO niche. So now let's talk about the 3 main ways to properly use outlier theory. Some of them I already explained here, but let's do it. So first, you got your niche. So what you could do when you're in your niche is if you see an outlier video, the best thing you could do is just change the title a tiny bit or improve the thumbnail completely. So for example, this is Matt Lucero. I believe he had less than 5,000 subscribers during that time, and he had a video that did 61,000 views. And his title is how to send 1,000 cold emails per day without landing in spam. And then after that, you have these 2 videos over here, all by Instantly, I believe. And they copied a similar approach. But the way they do it is they change some stuff around. So for example, what you could do is increase the number or improve the thumbnail to make it more clear. So for example, over here on this thumbnail, it said 1,000 cold emails per day, but you have this kind of blur over here that adds this sort of disruption to the thumbnail, which makes it a bit harder to read. Instead, he made it much more clear about what the video would be just by looking at the thumbnail, and it just simply Gmail 10,000 emails sent. And then another one is just changing the idea just a bit, but still keeping the similar format. So again, he followed a similar format over here as above, 1,000 emails sent, but it said autopilot. So he's completely shifting the whole idea of the video. So he said how to send 1,000 personalized emails a day on autopilot, because every single person over here, these 2, they're just talking about sending cold emails. But this guy is just talking about 1,000 cold emails a day, which is still a lot, but they're all personalized, which is much better in the cold email space because the more personalization you could add to an email, the more likely it will be read and have it replied to by the prospect. It's just borrowing the format, but shifting the idea just a bit. That's still relevant to the niche. Next, you got the adjacent niches. So I talked about this before. It's you take a video that did so well in one bigger niche and apply it to your niche. So like we did for Hormozy, he's in the business niche. So that's like one bigger niche, but it's still relevant because SEO is still related to businesses. So again, we took that title and replicated it in the SEO niche. And because they are adjacent and very similar, the idea will work in that adjacent niche because it's already a proven format and something very similar. So again, how to get so rich you question the meaning of money, to then how to rank number one so fast people think you hacked Google. Next is combining multiple ideas at once. So from adjacent niches, from your niche. So for example, this is your niche. When I looked at the SEO niche, there wasn't a lot of videos that were doing super well view-wise. And because Caleb needed views, I needed to find a way to find new patterns in the SEO niche. So for example, when I looked at Caleb's old videos, he had 5,000 subscribers back then, probably less. This video over here outranked 99% of local businesses with these 5 AI hacks. That video did super well. And the reason why I see it did super well is because when I look at Wes McDowell's video over here, he has roughly 400,000 subs. I believe it was less when this video came out. This is why Caleb's video did well, because he took this concept over here, how to outrank 99% of local businesses on Google. He just transformed it in a way where it's just using 5 AI hacks. So it's much more digestible than just a tier list. But then when I also look at the niche, I see the idea of ranking fast always gets a lot of views because people just want to get their business ranked on Google as fast as they can and not wait the typical SEO takes 6 months to get ranked on Google. So I see these videos over here like by Ahrefs and Jesse over here making videos on how you could rank number one fast. So like rank on Google in 3 minutes, try to rank in 24 hours. I saw like the patterns inside those videos. So if I combine those two together, I'm going to have a really good video. So I came up with this: outrank 99% of local businesses in 14 days. It's following the same outrank 99% pattern of local businesses and the time in 14 days, because Caleb's process is proven to work in only 14 days. So we made sure to leverage that. And as a result, it got 83,000 views. As of right now, his channel only has 30,000 subscribers. And this video was released 6 months ago when he had, 10,000 subscribers. So this was a massive outlier. And yeah, that's how you find video ideas on YouTube. So look, the information in this video genuinely has the power to change your YouTube strategy for the better. So I hope you went through all of this and got some real good notes and got real value from it. But at this point, you only have two options. You could, one, try to implement all of this yourself, spending the time, money, and headache trying to figure it out all yourself, and the video ideation, scripting, filming, editing, thumbnails, SEO, and posting, all of those stuff, and all the problems you will face if you're doing this for the first time. Or you could get help from an expert who took a client from 5,000 to 27,000 subscribers and 10x their revenue using the exact ideation system and has solved all the problems you've inevitably faced, so you could just get this right the first time. And if I'm being honest here, if you're already not getting consistent inbound leads from YouTube, you don't need another course. You need help from someone ready to implement this for you. That's why I want you to click the first link in the description and book a call with me. Now, this is only for you if you're a business owner making at least $20,000 a month or more, and you want to avoid doing all this yourself. All you need to do is record 2 to 4 hours per month, and we handle everything else from ideation, scripting, editing, thumbnails, SEO, posting, all of that. So if that's you, click the link below, book a call with me, and I'll speak to you